The powder tool is an important device that we use here at RG Construction for attaching track to concrete and steel. But it can also be very dangerous if used improperly and not carefully maintained. Following are some excerpts from a recent safety meeting we had regarding powder tools.
The number one accidents out there, and I've already been involved with them this year, guys putting their hand over the end of the tool and pulling a trigger. Make sure when you got a live load there, you're ready to go and do your work. You go to break or something like that, pull the load out, set it down. Don't try not to leave the tools loaded there on the job site. I've been involved with cases, guys climbing down the ladder, got a gun loaded. Somebody's bracing a ladder. Even though he's got a hard hat, the guy stumbled on a step, slipped, fingers on the trigger, went through the guy's hard hat coming from above him. It doesn't take a whole lot to puncture the back side of this load and set it off. And if that's laying in your pouch like this, it leaves a nasty little burn mark right here in the front of you. So keep that in mind as well. Loading the tool. We always want to load. The tools all have got an arrow on the top. That should be going to the tool first. We're going to load the tool from the bottom forward, push it up. I've actually got a live load in this tool right now. Say I shot 4 or 5 strips out of this, you can always put it in here. You can pull it up 5 notches. It's not a BAM stick. What you want to do when you compress it is push it up against the ceiling with your ceiling clip enough to compress the front end of the tool, and then slowly push, not slowly, but you just push up on the bottom end of the tool. So go ahead, push it up against your ceiling, close the front end, and then compress the bottom end of the tool. Go ahead, should be able to push that down and compress it. That's all it has to be done. So close it up against the ceiling and then push up on the tool. Guys, that's gonna set the tool off. And shooting it straight. I know it's not always feasible on your job site, but the straighter you can have this tool, the better your fastener that you're gonna be, the more success rate that you're gonna have. If you're trying to toenail with the powder actuated gun, you're going to get that fish hook inside of your nail probably 90% of the time. All right, forced entry for fastening, perpendicular is a very key portion of this as well too. Hey, I'm only getting 1 shot out of this tool and then it's not working. Well, what is happening, it might be hard to see here, but that disc load has to go back in the back end straight. Guys, you can put that in a little cockeyed and you will get 1 fire out of that, and then it won't fire because it will not advance the load, and it's going to have to end up jamming the load inside there. You guys send them back in, hey, it's a piece of junk, it doesn't work. Fasteners into steel. How close to the edge can you guys go? Does anybody know? 1/2 inch to the edge of steel. What about concrete? Anybody have any ideas on shooting into concrete? It's about 3 inches. This is a universal. They've got to have a number and they're going to have a color with them. Number, I'm going to start, step back. We've actually got number 1 load is going to be a gray. Not even sure if we even sell those anymore, but they are out there. 2 is going to be a brown. 3 is going to be your green. 4 is a yellow. 5 is a red. And there's a 6th one that's a purple load, and that is going to be your most powerful. So the loads are going to go from 1 to 6, 1 being the weakest load out there, up to 6 being a purple load, and that is going to be the most powerful. Always start with the lowest power load available to you. It'll help you do a couple of different things. Number 1, you won't overdrive that fastener, and it's going to get you a better holding values as well too. When you fire it, once again, don't take the nail and put it over the end of the tool. Load it from the side of the tool, okay, because these are self-advancing loads, so load it from the side of the tool. A lot of the new tools, guys, have got power adjust on them. You know, say if you start a job and you've only got red loads out there, you're not sure what you need. The power adjust will dial it down 2 full loads. Dial it to where you see halfway would be 1 load, second half, or all the way down would be the next. But what you don't want to do is you don't want to run this tool always 100% at the back side. You're going to wear out your tool, and you're going to send it in. It's going to get dirtier. The guys are going to have to break it down and clean it more often. Next item is when you're shooting into concrete, they try to like to have a minimum of like 3/4 of an inch shooting into concrete. Because as that nail goes into the concrete, what it's doing is it's creating like a spall around the tip of that nail. So when it's shooting into that concrete, it's going in, it creates a spall. Once again, we're forced entry. We're not drilling any holes or anything to grab onto. So you're more of the in-depth, the better that you guys are going to be. Back end of the tool, send it in, guys. Never try and repair that back end. You got a trigger issue or something like that, send it in to be worked on. I'm not going to do it out in the field either, so send that tool in. The Rocket is a very easy tool for the component wise. Got a collar. One thing I'm going to stress here first, never use any tool when you're putting a tool together or taking it apart. Everything that I'm going to do on the front end of the tool should be able to be done with your hands, okay? I got a collar. I don't have one here, but one of the things I'm going to say is do it over top of a gang box or a table, because when I take this collar off, these little items right here are called paws, or dogs, some guys will call them, and they'll pop out on you, and if you're just out on the floor somewhere, boom, they're gone. You won't be able to get the tool back together and fire it without these, okay? So if you do it over a work surface, if you have to, these are two items that you want to be really careful about when you're taking a tool apart. I'm going to take the barrel apart on the front end. I'll set this aside. If you look down inside the barrel of the tool and it's got, this one ain't too bad because it's my tool, your guys is a lot worse. You use them more. You put your finger inside here, comes out really heavy black. You need to clean this. We've got cylinder brushes on the inside. They're just wire brushes. The inside, clean that all out. The wipes, these are like alcohol-based wipes, and so you can put it inside of the tool, wipe it out, and those will dry. Alcohol-based dries dry, doesn't leave any residue on the tool whatsoever. Take the collar off, spring will come off, and you got the front end of the tool. Collar on it. Comes off, okay? Then I've got a piston and the buffer. So again, take the buffer off, kind of take a look at that if you need to. It's got a neoprene on the top side. Very important, neoprene should be on the top, okay, not on the bottom. You assemble that tool like that, you've got it assembled back wrong. Neoprene is on the top. Once again, you can take the wire brush to this, you can take it on the back side of this, wipe it down with one of the wipes, it's completely dry. Once again, inside of the barrel, wire brush it on the inside, wipe off the outside, and then you can reassemble the tool back together. Assembling the tool back together, take your buffer, metal should meet metal, okay? Put her back together, drop your piston on the inside of the tool. I'm going to take my nose, hand tighten. That's all you need to do. It's got flats on it. Don't ever want to put wrenches on it. Put the flats on the side of the tool. You're going to take your spring, slide it up, collar, push it in. Got 3 holes on the side of the barrel. Okay. What those 3 holes are is it's an exhaust port. To test fire it, I've got no loads inside of here. Push it down on your work surface twice and pull the trigger. You get that clicking and mechanism, the tool's working, and you're in good shape.